almost there. You can see we have maybe 20 feet or so of scrambling.
Wow, such an incredible view. Are you sure there's not a better way up?
What's up, guys? We're here at Escondido Pens Campsite, which is in Big Bend Ranch State Park, the biggest state park in Texas. We're here during the Christmas break, and our plan is to stay 3 nights over here at the Escondido Pens and do a little bit of hiking, a little bit of bike riding, and see where it takes us. So we got our setup over here. We got our Ford and our truck tent, and inside we got our mattress, and we got everything set up. We got our ice chest, our water, and you can see behind me there's some pens, and they call this an equestrian campsite. So if you had horses, you could bring them out here, pin them up, I guess go out riding out in this stuff. So I am not an equestrian, but I guess that's what they do. So just a closer look here at our setup. We have our F-150 truck tent, and it fits snugly inside. We can even put up the tailgate if we want it. Inside we have our air beds, and all this we got off of Amazon for a pretty decent price. And then we have over here a fire ring. We plan on having a bonfire later, or a small fire. Got some chairs set up. Got over here a grilling fire ring. Might do that a little bit later. Have our charcoal ready. We got some bikes. We actually went ahead and invested in another bike so each of us could ride out here. So we figured we could cover some more ground along more of the boring, just park roads, and not going to go off trail with any of these, but it can get us to places where we can then hike off trail. So we're trying that out for the first time. Over here we have some hand washing water and some soap, rechargeable light set up, have our ice chest, some water, some bike stuff. We'll get this together before we go tomorrow. So we have our extra inner tubes with slime. We have just regular slime, first aid kit, bike tools, hand sanitizer. Got some trekking poles. And over here, got some firewood. Show you a little bit closer at the pens. Got some feeding troughs and even a water trough there. And I believe that it has water in it from a spring up down in there. And over in there is Ojo Escondido Campsite. You can make out a shade structure way in the distance. And we wanted that campsite, but it was kind of taken, so we're a little bit closer to the road here. So we came down from that direction over there, and the road just goes right by here. We have our own private bath over there, and the road goes down, and down that way is campsites Mota 1 and 2, and then off in the distance, you can barely see it peeking over the mountain there, is Mota Mountain. And we plan on hiking that thing tomorrow. So we have hiked here about a quarter mile down from Escondido Pens to Ojo Escondido. And as you can see, we're further up in this little shut up here. And it's really protected over here. Nestled in between these giant boulders. And I'm actually on one right now. A really good view of a lot. You can see the sunset. You can maybe make out our truck way down in there. So that's our campsite over to the west. So we're gonna try to get a cool view of the sunset and maybe walk back in the dark. But really pretty over here and so quiet. That's what always gets me, is how quiet it is over here. No birds, no insects, just ear-ringing quiet. We are headed back from watching the sunset at Ojo Escondido. It was really pretty. Found a nice boulder to sit on, and it was shaped like a bench almost. Had a a footrest and a place to sit, so that was nice. So now we're using our headlamps to make our way back. Still a bit of sun, but nice to watch out for holes. We actually saw people who might be our neighbors for the night. A couple guys walking up here to scout out the road, staying at Ojo Escondido, so they'll drive back by us, maybe. Not sure what they were in, but we think they stopped up the road a bit to scout. So interesting to see that people are staying here. We're always kind of skeptical about who would really come out here, but we always see it booked. And we also did see 2 cars go down towards Mota 1 and 2. They looked like they were together, so we'll see if any of those people stayed there or not. But the first one looked pretty rugged, the other one looked a little less rugged. So we'll see if they can make it. I know the road gets pretty bad that way. But interesting to see people. Probably more people than we've seen in a whole trip we've seen today. Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, December 28th, and it is a beautiful morning. It's about 9 a.m. We woke up, slept pretty well, woke up and had ourselves a MRE for breakfast, some Black Rifle coffee, and now we are fixing to head out on our bikes over to Mota Mountain. And our goal, somewhere behind us there, our goal is to ride about 4 miles until the road almost ends, and then figure out a cross-country way of getting up the mountain. So we've seen the mountain since we first came out here 5 years ago, and we got really close to it a couple years ago, but we always kind of chickened out of it. But this time we're prepared, and we're gonna make it up. So, and we couldn't find anything online of people who have actually hiked it. We've heard a couple park volunteers claim that they have. Who knows if they really have? But the closest thing I found was a survey monument note from 1930s of a USGS surveyor who was able to hike to the top and plant a survey monument, a little seal in the ground. So at least he's been up there in the 30s. So if he can do it in the 30s, I'm sure we can do it in the 2020s. So that's the goal, and I'll keep y'all updated. Okay guys, so about 4 miles later and 55 minutes down the road, we have made it to Mota Mountain. You can see behind me. So we've put our bikes to the side here, down a little parking area, and behind me we have Mota 2, Mota Dos campsite, and we stayed here once before. It was pretty dang remote. We lost cell service like 7 miles down the road, so it was a bit of an experience, you know. Didn't want to get stuck out here, but we made it here. We even had a text come through, which was neat. And we're gonna go sit here at the shade structure. They've built up this thing since we've been here, and gonna go think about our plan to get up the mountain. So there's a fence line we might try to walk, or we might just try to hike it up the side. But if you can see, some pretty steep cliff faces, and we don't want to hit those. So we're gonna take 5 and keep you updated. So just a quick update, guys. We are almost there, but this is how far we've come. As you can see, we have maybe 20 feet or so of scrambling. Not as bad as it looks. An adventure. Probably gonna try to find another way down, because this has been very sketchy. Hopefully I'll check in next when we make it to the top. Okay guys, I don't know how windy it is on the microphone, but as you can see, we have finally made it to the top of Mota Mountain. This is the view looking towards the north. Going around, you see it's kind of wide up here. We got a lot of room. Looking down over here, you can see towards the east, west, we go up a little bit, maybe you can make out a little bit of Ojinaga / Presidio over there. Looking down this way, you can see Lava Creek and some cottonwoods, meaning there's spring over there, twisting and meandering through. Come up over here, looking to the south, you can see the ranger station. Might be able to make out some cars parked at South Lava, maybe some windshields. That's where we came from. And then right here we have our survey monument. And that was placed there in 1934. There was nothing out there. And coming around, I'll show you the east view. Can't see much over here that you can recognize other than Mota 2, but you can't really make anything out. But there you go. So this is the top of Mota Mountain. You see it almost when you first come into the park, and you keep seeing it, and this is what it looks like on top. There's no trail up here. We kind of off-trailed it. So hopefully you can find a better way down. Alright guys, so we are making our way down. Back up there is the highest point in the monument. So we're making our way back down. We had come up over there, down that kind of cliff almost, and would not recommend. So we were trying a new way. We went back and read, we got cell service on the top, went back and read through the 1934 surveyor's notes, and he said he used the north and northeast faces. So there's a bit of a draw running through here, and the draw is rocky, but along the sides I think we can kind of use some switchbacks and make our way down. So this is what I would recommend coming up too. You kind of find the draw on the back side, and right there you got that nipple mountain right there, and so it's kind of hidden back here, but keep walking around the base, I'd recommend, and then this might be the easiest way up. So kind of reminds me of Bear Canyon at Guadalupe Mountains if you've ever been there, except no trail. So wish us luck, and let's hope we get down safely. Just a quick update guys, we are making our way down. I'd say we're probably over halfway down. Came from all the way up there and made it down here. Still got that way to go. If you can look, something interesting down in the distance, looks like there's almost some ruins down there, like an old house or something. So we will see. But what's more interesting is that we came across a murder scene. I think that's a bighorn sheep. Got destroyed by something that just went to town on it here. So we got pieces of the mandible everywhere. Got some leg bones. Got the skull. And the spine still fused together, which is interesting. So, but yeah, pretty neat, the stuff you find here. Alright, so we have made it back to the fence line here behind me, and that came out down from the mountain. So we kind of skirted around. We came more down the north face, I guess, and then skirted around the foothills over to the fence line. So now the plan is just to take the fence line all the way down to the gate, and the gate's on the road, and the road will take us back to our bikes. Alternatively, we can take the fence to the telephone line, and then that'll take us over pretty close to the trucks. Then you gotta do a little cross country from there. So we'll just see where we go. We're thinking at this point we might take it to the gate. Alright guys, so we have made it back down from the Mota. It was about not even 2.5 miles our total trek, but it took us close to 3 hours. So we did stop at the top for maybe 20 minutes, but that's just some rugged climbing there. So we're chilling here at Mota 2. No one seems to be here right now. And our bikes are about 40 yards in front of us. And we're getting our bearings here, getting rehydrated, and then we're going to make the 4-mile bike back to our truck, back to Escondido Pens. So here's a view from Mota 2. You get a great view of the east side of Mota Mountain. And it's hard to tell, but we were up at that the high point up there is that highest most peak right there. And first time we went up kind of along this near finger up the side from the northeast. But coming back down, we were in between there, between the near finger and the far finger, if it'll focus. And there's a draw back there that we had to scramble over quite a bit. But then we worked our way around the edge, came up along the fence line, and it met in with the road, and we came across to here. Well, guys, we have made it back from the Mota Mountain campsite. Took us about 50 minutes on our bike, shaved off 5 minutes, but I think we're going downhill a little bit more. So, made it back. We're pretty tired. It's about 4 o'clock. So we plan on just chilling this afternoon, enjoying the outdoors. Gonna fire up the grill later and cook some beef, some steak. But for now, we're just gonna rehydrate and chill. And it's been a pretty exciting day. Alright guys, this is about 5 o'clock. The sun's beginning to make its way down. And we have us a charcoal fire going. See down in there, we got charcoal smoking. And we have some boneless ribs on the grill. So boneless beef ribs. Sounds pretty good. We had some beans and some tomatoes and okra with it. So always eat big when we go hiking. Alright guys, we are here at our campsite still. It's about 7:30 and the sun has gone down. We have ourselves a nice little fire here. We ate our dinner and we've just kind of been sitting here relaxing, getting the fire real good. The wind had died down a bit, but it's starting to be a little breezy again. You know, the wind's always changing out here. Fortunately, it looks like the clouds have kind of come in a little bit, and so don't know if there's much stargazing tonight, but that's alright. It was pretty cool last night. And we actually got some neighbors this time. Probably can't see the light up there, but some people came by in a Ford Ranger and they pitched their tent up at Ojo Escondido. And unlike last night, those guys never came back, so I guess they figured that it wasn't worth the effort. So we have neighbors this time, and we've kind of been just glancing over, seeing what they're doing, and it's been pretty chill this evening. So far so good. Hopefully we have a good night. Tomorrow we're considering going home. Tomorrow wasn't what we had intended at first, but it was kind of the original plan. So 2 nights seems to be the way to go. And we're thinking tomorrow we might do a quick day on the bikes, and then we might try to go out using Ranch to Market 169, which instead of going through Presidio, we kind of go north and it takes us up. We hit in near Marfa, I think between Shafter and Marfa. So we're going to try that out tomorrow. Hopefully we don't come across any gates or any impasses. So we'll check that out, and that'll be interesting. It might be a new way in if it works out. So I'll keep y'all updated in the morning. Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, December 29th, and it's another beautiful day out here in Big Bend Ranch State Park. Day number 3 for us. And it got a little windy last night. Didn't have the best sleep, but it actually started sprinkling a bit around 2 a.m., so that was unexpected. They called for like a 2% chance of rain, but I guess it happened. And nothing bad enough to put on the rain fly or anything. So we had our breakfast. We had an MRE and some Black Rifle coffee, which is really good, by the way. And now we're about to head out on our bikes and go a little bit ways. We don't know how far we'll go. We're all pretty sore today. And we set out to do Mota Mountain, which was our main thing. So this is just a victory lap at this point. But we're thinking about going down the ranger station, maybe seeing if we could do the Llano Loop, which is about 8 miles around the ranger station. So we'll look into that on our bikes. If you notice, we have our tent taken down. That's because we plan on packing out tonight and not staying another night. So we're gonna go ahead and get back home and get sleep in a real bed. But we came, we saw, and we conquered Mota Mountain. Alright, so we have gone 0.86 miles down Mota Road here, and we have reached Encino Trail. We saw this coming in, but we took a closer look at it, and looking at the map, it goes down and hooks into the campsite Papalote Encino, about 3 miles down the road, and then from there it hooks back into the main park road. So we are going to try this trail on our bikes. It looks pretty decent, and we'll see how far it gets us. We are not afraid to turn around if we need to, but we'll see where it goes. Alright guys, we have made it to Papalote Encino, which is at the other end of this bike trail, about 3 miles from La Mota Road. And as you can see, there is a windmill here. It used to be a well, but it looks like the park still pumps water. I believe this could be for wildlife and for the longhorn herd. I see a lot of cow dung. So there is a cistern over here with water. Of course, it's non-potable, and the park says that they recommend you treat, filter, and or boil before use. But it's neat to know that it's over here, a nice little shade structure, and fire ring. And then they also have a bear box, or just a place to store your food away from wildlife, because this must be a pretty big spot. Only water in the desert. So this is pretty neat. Haven't seen this before out here. So the plan is to go down this road, this little spur, and hit up at the main park road, and make our way back down towards where La Mota Road hits the main park road. So we've been down the park road maybe about 1.5 miles, and it's pretty easy riding. Got some big hills, but it's pretty flat, pretty steady. No sand or big rocks. This is right there to my left. We've come across the nature trail, and I believe, looking on the map, it's the sort of like a Powerline Trail. I think they call it something different at the other terminus. So we're gonna take this. It might look a little more rugged than Encino Trail, but it might shave off a few, 1/4 mile or so, and if nothing else, it'll just be fun. We have made it back to La Mota Road. You can see behind me, they call this the Powerline Trail. Back there they call it a nature trail. It was pretty rough at some points. It was only 2.7 miles, but had some pretty rough draws. And one of us fell off one time, but we weren't going that fast. Just got bogged down in the sand, and you lose all your grip. And we did get cell service once on a pretty tall rise, but our legs took a big beating. The trail's not that clear. I mean, hiking you can avoid it, but on a bike you can't really avoid some of the mesquite thorns sticking out. Alright guys, we were packed up and headed out. Made it back to the campsite. We did our last little bit of packing, got all our stuff in the bed, packed up the bikes, and made it. So overall, this has been a pretty fun camping trip. This is actually our first time. We realized that we stayed 2 nights in Big Bend Ranch, and so it's been great. And we were able to climb La Mota. That's what we came out here to do. And as far as we know, not many people have climbed it. So hopefully that provides some insight if you're looking to do that. And then we also got ourselves a nice little bike ride today. So climbed La Mota, and then got a good little intro for first time mountain bikers like us. So overall, this has been a great time. I've enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see where our next adventure goes. Just a quick update, guys. We made it down Highway 169, which is actually Presidio County Road 4, up until the pavement starts here. Then it turns into Ranch to Market 169. And it was a pretty neat drive. We were kind of worried we'd hit a lock gate or an impassable road conditions, but we actually made it. We passed one guy. and that was it. So pretty lonely out here, pretty neat. We got some train tracks behind us. We crossed over them earlier, and looks like an old water station. And neat drive. Don't know if I do it again, but it is possible. So we should hook in about 25 miles, 24 miles to Highway 60, and that should take us up through Marfa.